Open Broadcasting software is a video recording software. Notice I did not say video editing. OBS does not do video editing. It does only video recording. And this works over many platforms: Windows, Linux, Mac. More importantly, it is free and open source. More power to it. So let's see how to use this software. So here is an outline for what we are going to cover. There is some initial setup which will make life easier later. So that is what we will cover first. After the setup, we can look at how to record. While you are recording, you may want to use a pen option, in which case, how do you go about it? That also we will cover. So this initial setup is useful because it helps you decide what the output video format is. For example, if you want MP4, what file sizes the video should be. Here also you can do some optimization. In other words, do you want 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second? 30 frames per second produces a smaller size video than 60 frames per second. You can also decide on the resolution. Do you want to capture webcam, so on? All this is what we will cover as part of the initial setup. So again, the first thing before you use OBS is to get your presentation ready. For example, if you are using a PDF, get the PDF ready, or if you are a Windows user and you want to use PPT, get that PPT ready. Or you want to use Google Slides, get that ready. So basically you are ensuring that your presentation is ready. First time you open OBS, it gives you a bunch of options. It will say, should it optimize for streaming or should it optimize for recording? You should select optimize for recording because that is what we will do. Rest you can just select default and proceed. We don't really need to bother here because we are going to explicitly configure the settings as we will see now. You should also check whether your mic is working correctly. And if you have more than one mic, which is an internal mic of your laptop, as well as if you are connecting an external mic, you also have to ensure you are choosing the right mic when you are recording. How to do this, we will see shortly in the demo. One also need to tell OBS what all to record. So for this, you need to add resources to OBS. So if you want to record the screen, you have to click on this plus symbol and in the sources window, select display capture. What do I mean by this? I will show you shortly in the demo. Notice that this display capture appears in Windows. It doesn't appear in Linux, at least in the systems I tested. There you can select screen capture in place of display capture. That means it is going to capture your entire screen. Instead of above, it may be more convenient for you to specifically choose an application which you want to record. For example, if you are using Adobe for PDF slides, you may want to explicitly select record only Adobe. Or if you are using OneNotes for your notes, you may want to explicitly select to record the OneNotes window. For this, the same process except that instead of display capture, you do window capture. And further to this, you also have to select, you may have multiple windows present, in which case you have to select the specific window that corresponds to the application you are interested in. You can also include a webcam by again same process by selecting video capture device. I think all this is better explained through a demo. Let's see a demo, we'll get to it shortly. There are more settings that are necessary. So for this, you have to go to File and Settings. There are 3 settings we will change, one corresponding to video, one corresponding to output, and one corresponding to hotkeys. What are hotkeys? You can choose hotkeys for the following functionality: start recording, stop recording, pause recording, and unpause recording. What these means is you are associating a set of keys to each of these functions, and when you press those keys, that function starts. You should definitely not use keys that are commonly used. For example, you should not associate start recording with space bar, because space bar is something we use a lot, for example, when typing text. So whenever you press space, the OBS start recording will start. So that is not a good idea. So you should definitely use combinations like this. So hotkeys are predominantly for convenience. Otherwise, you have to keep clicking the OBS interface, selecting start within that interface, stop within that interface, and so on. This makes life easier. These are also very useful, especially when you are using display capture, that is, you are capturing the entire screen. If you did not use hotkeys, you will have to edit your video to remove this OBS Studio interface that will appear within the videos. What I mean by this, I will again show it in a demo. So all this is better explained by a demo. So let's get to the demo. So I have opened OBS. This is the screen for OBS. Notice that I have already installed OBS before. So this thing about first time optimization, it did not show for me. But if it showed for you, select optimize just for recording, select defaults and proceed. Don't worry too much about it, because we will explicitly set some of these parameters shortly. So just go ahead and ensure that OBS opens. So that is where we are. We have opened the OBS. To check the mic, this is the region where we have to check mic/AUX. As you can see, as I talk, the bar is fluctuating. This means that the mic is working fine. In case your laptop has multiple mics, you can choose the right mic by clicking on the settings here, choosing properties. And this is the list of mics. My laptop has an internal mic, which is this, and an external mic, which is the Samsung mic. I'm going to choose this mic, click OK. So that is mic check done. Now let's add resources to OBS. Basically that tells what all to capture. Let's start with something simple. Let's assume that my slides are all in Adobe. So I just want to capture the Adobe app, screen capture what is happening in the Adobe app. For that, I need to go to the sources, that is here. And I'm going to press on this plus and I'm going to select Windows Capture. Because it is Adobe, I'm going to name it Adobe and I'm going to click OK. Now it is going to show me a bunch of open applications, and if you see here, the Adobe does not show. This is because anything that is minimized does not show in this list. So you should ensure that the Adobe app is not minimized. So let me just cancel this. Go back to my Adobe. Ensure that it is not minimized. While it is up, I will now go back to OBS. And here, since I've already added the name, I'm going to right click it, select properties, and here I'm going to choose the Adobe. As you can see, it shows now. This is the Adobe reader. So I'm going to select that as my window and I'm going to click OK. And the same is appearing here. So we are now ready to record this particular window. Before we do that, in case you want to also include a webcam, you can do that by clicking again on the plus button under sources. Here you have to do video capture device. Let me now call it webcam. Press OK. Now webcam has shown up. Again I'm saying OK. But I want this webcam in a corner. I don't want it to occupy my screen. So I'm going to resize it by doing this. Basically select one of these red buttons and drag. And this I will place in some corner in my screen. As far as adding resources for recording a lecture, this combination of webcam and Adobe will work. We can move on to other settings, but let me also show here how to capture the entire screen. So for that I am going to remove this Adobe, for which I am going to just select this and click delete. It's saying, do you wish to remove? I'm going to remove it. So only my webcam remained. everything else disappeared. Now if I want to capture the entire screen, I'm going to again click on plus. Now I'm going to do display capture and I'm going to again click OK, and whenever it shows something like this, so again let me click OK first. Whenever it shows something like this, that means it is capturing the entire screen. So again summarizing, if you want to capture the entire screen with the webcam, so here is my webcam. If you want it to show up, you can move it up. There it shows. So this is one combination, that is select display capture and webcam, or like I showed previously, you choose a window capture and webcam. If you don't want webcam, you can also delete it just by selecting this webcam and pressing delete. For now, I'm going to retain it. Now we are going to change some settings. So for that we need to go to this file and click on settings. Here we will manipulate 3 settings. One is the output. So let's start with output. This output is what is going to decide the size of your videos. We will focus on recording here. You can specify where the videos should, the final files should be stored. This is the path. You can change it, but I'll leave it for now. Recording quality, you can select whatever you like, but if you want medium sized files, this is what you should select. I'm selecting high quality but medium file size, not lossless quality with very large or tremendously large or large file size. I'm just choosing medium file size. I want my videos in MP4, so I'm selecting the format as MP4. You can select others as well, but MP4 is what is most commonly used. I prefer a hardware encoder which is faster. Rest all you can leave, and I'm just going to say OK. By the way, all this comes under the simple mode. This is the simple mode which shows. You can also go for advanced mode here. Advanced mode, under recording you can potentially additional parameters, but I would just suggest go with simple, because any mess up you do there, it really messes things up. So just go with simple like I have specified. These are the parameters which it should be, and then click OK. So we are done with output. Then we are going to set within this the video. So here ensure that the base canvas resolution corresponds to the resolution of your laptop screen. In my case it is 1080p, that is why I am selecting. Don't reduce it. If you were to reduce it, it will cut some of the text on the full screen. So leave it as is. But when you are producing the output, you may want to go to reduce the video size. You may want to go for 720p. So this is what I am selecting, 720 into 1280. Because you are reducing from base resolution to output resolution, you normally have to select a downscale filter. I think it's okay to select whatever default is there. You can experiment with this to see what produces the smallest size videos. Frame size I would not recommend beyond 30 frames per second. Just leave it as is. And again I am pressing OK. The third settings we will do is with the hotkeys. This is here. So these are the 4 things we should set hotkeys. Why we should set, I will quickly come to it. To set the hotkeys, for example, you should definitely not choose common keys like space, enter and so on. Some control is a good idea. When you want to change them, you don't have to type CTRL plus and all. Just press the control button. It will show as control. No need to press plus. You just need to type what other, which is the F1 key here. It will automatically show it here. So you can select some combination here, your choice essentially. This is what I choose, and click OK. So now we are done with the setup as well. We are now ready to start recording.